Imagine a world where every voice mattered, where the dock worker and the general debated on equal terms. This was Athens until Plato snuffed it out. This is the story of how the sophist spark was buried. We need to steal it back from the gods, Prometheus style. Picture Athens at its peak, a city buzzing with ideas, where the sophists taught everyone, sailors, merchants, and even the poor, to question everything. They weren't just philosophers, they were revolutionaries who believed, as Pythagoras would say, humans is the measure of all things. This was no master-slave world, as Nietzsche might have put it. They were Übermenschen, superhumans who willed a new reality into existence, a democracy where the power came from the people, not the gods nor the kings. But Socrates and Sparta crushed Athens. That spark was nearly distinguished. Today, we're still living in Plato's shadow, but the sophist fire isn't dead. It is waiting for us to reunite it. Let us rewind. The sophists of ancient Athens were not perfect, but what they created was electric. Think about it. They created modern science. Hippocrates invented modern medicine. Aristophanes staged feminist plays like the Lystrata. This was a Renaissance before the Renaissance, fueled by the sophist belief in debate, skepticism, and equality. They used the Kalturion, a random lottery machine, to pick citizens for leadership roles, ensuring that the cobbler could even give a chance to govern. That is radical, compared to Plato's Republic, where he proposed a rigged lottery to keep the best in power while tricking the masses into thinking it was fair. Sounds familiar? Today's elections, with their backroom deals and unverifiable votes, echo Plato's scam more than the sophist democracy. When Athens fell, the sophist idea did not vanish. They were deliberately buried. Plato's Academy replaced the agorist free-for-all with dogma, teaching only the elite philosophers could access the truth. Alexander the Great tried to salvage some of the sophist spirit, fostering science in the great library of Alexandria, but he ditched their equality for an empire. The Epicurean communities kept the flame alive in small private circles, living simply and questioning authority. But the Platonic pull towards a single unchanging truth was too strong. By the time the Christian scholars like Augustine took over, the sophist writings were either buried or left to rot. Augustine discouraged human knowledge and said that we should only worry about the city of God. Why? Because the sophist ideas, relativism, skepticism, equality were too dangerous to anyone who wanted to control. Europe was plunged into 1,000 years of dark ages. Finally, when the Europeans went on the Crusades, they rediscovered Aristotle from the Arabs. The scholastics, like Thomas of Aquinas, rediscovered some of the sophist spirit through Aristotle, who owed much more than he admitted to the sophists. This sparked the Renaissance, a rebirth of inquiry in art, but there was still no political equality. Elites hoarded the sophist tools, using their language of freedom and reason to pacify the masses while ruling from above. Today we see it everywhere. Politicians preaching democracy while rigging the game, corporations selling equality while exploiting the workers. Even our education system, rooted in Platonic ideals, train us to obey rather than to question. Sophism been twisted into a slur. Think of sophisticated lawyers and sophistry in ads. But the true spirit lives in the margins. The Hermetic philosophy, the alchemy, and later the natural science carried the sophist torch, rediscovering truth through observation, not dogma. So what is the lesson? The sophists showed us that we can shape our worlds, not through force, but through ideas. Their democracy wasn't just voting, it was a mindset, questioning everything, trust your senses, and value every perspective. Plato and his heirs tried to lock that spark away, but it's still there. If you and me and anyone who dares to think for themselves. Let us steal back the fire from the gods. Let us ignite the Prometheus spark, not for the elites, but for all of us. Because if Athens could do it 2,400 years ago, we can do it today. Drop comments and let's debate. sophist style.